What is going on, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about Tradeify and why they've quickly become one of my favorite prop firms. We're going to break down their new live program and how you can be invited into participating, how you can get paid daily with their live accounts, and how you can earn these things called merit accounts, which will really skyrocket your profitability. All right, so first of all, Tradeify is a newer prop firm that just came on the scene in 2024, and they did make a splash because they were offering these things called straight to funded programs, which means that you don't have to do an evaluation. You can start trading with a simulated live account or simulated funds right away. And you have to trade for a certain amount of time and you can collect a payout. So they have different accounts, 150K, 100K, 50K, and 25K. And these are good if you really just want to skip the line, not do the evaluation, if they drive you crazy, and you can just start trading right away. Now, don't get scared. These are not the prices. There is a big coupon code that is available right now for 30% off. That link is down below. But they also have a couple of other options, which a lot of people do not even know. First of all, this is my favorite, the growth. The growth program is an evaluation type of prop firm setup where you can actually take a 50K account and pay right now roughly about $97 for an account after the discount. And you will have no trailing drawdown. It's an end of the day drawdown. You can pass the evaluation in one day, but the best part of all is that there is no activation fee. So for a $97, you can have the eval and the account with no activation fee, and you can start trading in as little as one day. That's why I think this one is a game changer. Now, the advanced is a little bit cheaper, but the thing is you do have that trailing drawdown. So for some of you who don't mind, it is going to be a little bit cheaper up front, but you do have an activation fee of $125. So for me, really the no-brainers are the growth accounts. And if you really just want to get going and just start making money right away, these straight to funded. These are the awesome. Actually, the best one out of all these is the 150K. That's the one I've always traded. I love this one. It ends up being somewhere around $400 after the coupon code for and change. But I like these because you have a lot of drawdown, and it's the best bang for your buck out of all of these, okay? All right, so now let's talk about what we all came here for, and that is the live program and how you can be called up to live. And this is how it works. After receiving 4 payouts on your sim funded account, you can be called up to live, but they do reserve the option to actually call you up at any time. But if you earn $80,000 in total payouts, you're definitely gonna be called up to live. Now, so how much of that money actually gets transferred over? And that answer is pretty simple. It's either going to be the balance of whatever is left in your account after you take your 4th payout, or 10%, whichever one is less. So if your account has $2,500 in it and you have a $25,000 face value account, then that means you're right at 10%. So you'd move over with 10%. But let's just say you had, I don't know, $3,000 in this account. They would transition you with $2,500 to your live account, and then the balance of the $500 would actually be given to you, paid out to you on day one of your live account. So it's pretty simple. Now, if you have 5 of those, and each one of them has $5,000 extra in the $500 extra in the account, then that means you're going to be getting $2,500. 5 times 500, 2,500. You'll get back on day one of your live account, and then the balance gets transferred over into your live account, which is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. No questions there. But one thing you do have to keep in mind is that the maximum you can open up an account with is 20,000 in your live. So I'm going to give you an example here that Tradeify gave us, which is if a trader has 5 150K accounts and each one has a balance of 160 after the 4th payout, which means you have $10,000 over the initial face value, that means you're going to have 50K in your account. But since you're only allowed to move over with 20,000, you're going to be given the remainder $30,000 on day one of your live funded account. So this is what everybody wants to know. How can you get paid in your live account? And is it true that you can get paid daily? Well, the answer to that is yes and no. You actually have to do a couple things in order to get to that point. So this is what they say in their explanation here. Now, daily payout requests are available. Starting balance available for payout is available 50% of it. You can take it after 10 trading days with at least 5 profitable days over $200. Now the remaining 50%, you can take it out after 30 profitable days of over $200. Now they don't have to be consecutive. They just have to be 30 of them. Okay. Now the profit splits are going to be like this. the starting balance withdrawals are going to be at 90-10. So you're going to be able to take out 90% to you and 10% to Tradeify. The live funded profits above your starting balance are going to be broken down into an 80-20. And this is where it gets interesting, because the 20% is going to go back to Tradeify, but they're going to reinvest it in you with what are called merit accounts if you make it to a certain threshold. I'll explain that in just a second. But more importantly than how we can get paid is, what are the rules and how do we not break them? So this is the risk parameters and the scaling program that they have in place. So for each funded account, we'll begin with 5 contract limit or 50 micros. So you could do 5 minis or 50 micros, which will increase up to 15 contracts or 150 micros after 5,000 in profit on top of what you initially started with. Each live account will then begin with a daily loss limit of $2,000, which will scale up to $3,500 after you're at 5,000 in profit. So you still have these risk parameters that they put in place for you to not just blow your account on day one. You do have to abide by that. If not, you're going to have a risk manager that's going to give you a call or send you an email and let you know that, hey, you need to slow things down, or maybe we're going to reduce the amount of contracts that you're trading with. So there are rules to this. But what I think really makes this program special is the fact that you can scale up pretty quickly if you hit these thresholds that will allow you to get what are called merit accounts. Okay, so this is where it's going to get a little complicated. I need you guys to stick with me here. So what are merit accounts? So merit accounts are accounts that Tradeify will reward you once you hit a certain threshold. In this case, it's going to be $15,000. So let me give you an example of how this works. So let's just say you start off with 2 accounts. Now, how can you start with 2 accounts? Well, if you have more than $12,000 that you're transitioning into Tradeify live program with, they can split your accounts into 2. So let's just say you had an account with $12,000, like in this example here, and let's say that Tradeify made a decision to give you 2 $6,000 accounts. Now, if you have less than 12,000, they're going to give you 1 account. So let's just say you transitioned over with 10,000, you're only going to have 1 account with 10,000. But in this case that I want to show you here, there is a trader who transitioned over with 12,000. So what Tradeify decided to do is give them 2 $6,000 accounts. So once those 2 $6,000 accounts were given to the trader, they traded it and they made $7,500 in each account. Most likely that is being copy traded. So they made $15,000 total. So the $15,000 that the trader made was then paid out on an 80-20 split. Okay, the 80-20 split is then shared with Tradeify, and the 80 goes to the trader when the trader receives 12,000, and then the 2,000, and then the 20%, which would be 3,000, is actually converted into 6,000 because that's the balance that the trader initially started with in his principal account. He had 1 account with 6,000, a second account with 6,000. So the merit account that he actually receives has a face value of 6,000, not the 3,000, which is very interesting. That's something that we've never seen anywhere before. So now this is what the trader has. He has 1 account with 6,000 after the payout. He has another account with 6,000 after the payout. And he has a third account that he just was awarded that has a $6,000 balance after being paid out 12,000. All right, so this is where it starts to get very interesting. We have the second 15,000 that you would make on your first 2 accounts, 7,500 on each, most likely being copy traded. But now you're copy trading 3 accounts, not 2. So 75 here and 75 here. You've made 15,000 on the first initial accounts. If you only had 1, you'd have to make 15 in 1 account. But what's going to happen is those profits are also copy traded into your third account. So now what happens is you still get an 80-20 on your $15,000 profit that you made on your initial 2 accounts. So you'd end up getting a payout of 12,000 after the 80-20 split. But then what happens is your merit account, the first one you were awarded, it only had 6,000 in it before, now has 13,500 because you made an extra 7,500 in this account. Now, Tradeify awarded you a second merit account with a balance of 6,000 because that's what you initially started your accounts with, is 6,000 in each account. So now you have 6,000 plus 6,000 plus 13,500 plus a new one of 6,000. So now you have a total capital of 25,500 across 4 accounts, and you've been paid out 24,000. Now let's look at the third merit account. You're going to make another 15K in your first 2. Now you're copy trading over 4 accounts, and what's going to happen is you're going to end up taking another $12,000 payout. You're going to then be left with 6,000 and 6,000 in your first two initial accounts that you started the live program with. Now you're going to have 21,000 in your first merit account, 13,500 in your second merit account, and 6,000 in the third merit account that you were awarded just in this round right here. So now that brings you up to 52,500 across 5 accounts that you now have face value, and you've been paid out 36,000. Okay, and this is where every trader is going to want to get to. This is the ultimate prize that you can get to. Let's just say that once you have these 5 accounts, you make 20,000 in each account being copy traded. So you made 20 in here, you made 20 in here, now you made 20 here, 20 here, and 20 here. So now you made $100,000 across these 5 accounts. So what you're going to have now is you're going to have an account with a $26,000 face value here, $26,000 face value here, 41,000 face value, 33,500, and now 26,000. So now you have a total capital of 152,500 across these 5 accounts, and you've already been paid out 36,000. So this is where every trader is going to want to get to, and that's how you could really turn up the notch on your trading. The total amount you've made is 152,500, plus you've already been paid out 36,000. And you initially came in with 12,000 into the scenario. So you've actually made 140,000 plus 36. You've made 176,500 according to this example. And you've really only made 85K. You've made 85K with your initial 2 contracts, initial 2 accounts, I apologize. And now you've made 176. So that's why they say that these merit accounts can be utilized to give yourself a 2x multiplier, which is pretty insane. It's very hard to do. Don't get it mixed up. Don't get it twisted. This is going to be a very difficult thing for any trader to accomplish. But is it possible? Yes, it is. Well, maybe less than 1% of the traders probably do it, perhaps. But you don't have to wait to actually accomplish these goals to get paid on the merit accounts. You can actually get paid on the merit accounts much sooner. So for instance, once you have a merit account and it's been awarded to you, a trader can request a payout from their merit account once it reaches $3,000 in profit. Once eligible, the payout requests are under the following guidelines. Your daily payout request is going to be available, so you can get paid daily on that. Your minimum payout is going to be $250, and the profit split on those merit accounts are going to be 70-30. 70 to the trader, 30 to Tradeify. But remember, in order for you to get one of those merit accounts, you do have to earn $15,000 above your starting balance in order for you to get one of those merit accounts. And just to be clear, let's go over the payout structure one more time. So your starting balance payout. Traders can withdraw their starting balance. That's the money you actually came into the live program with. You can actually tap into that money if you wanted to as well. You can take 50% out of the starting balance once it becomes available for withdrawal if you traded for 10 days, where at least 5 of those days were profits over $200. Now you can take the entire thing out after you've been trading for 30 days with above $200. Okay, so that's pretty good. And remember, it's a 90-10 split. Now your main account payout policy is for all the payout requests above your starting balance. You do have daily payouts that are available. You have a rolling 24-hour period for payout requests. Minimum payout is going to be $250, and that is an 80-20 split. All right, so finally, here are some questions and commonly asked questions I know a lot of you are going to have. Can I have an advanced, a growth, or a straight to funded account while I have a live account? The answer is no. You're not going to be able to have that when you're trading live. If you do get kicked out of live, if you fall out of live and you no longer have an account live, well, then you're going to have to speak to your risk manager, and they're going to let you know your next steps. So there is no real clarity there. There is no real answer to whether you're going to be allowed to trade with Tradeify again. I hope you are. I hope they don't just kick you out because they know that you're a profitable trader. So that's kind of still up in the air. We don't know. That's one of the cons that I was going to be talking about, and the things that I'm not so comfortable with. Now, obviously, that's a good problem to have because that means you've made a lot of money. Now, could I be transitioned to live funded account before the 4th payout? Yes and no. It's unlikely, but there is a chance that you can, and they can actually reserve the right to bring you up to live after 1 payout. Maybe you're well known in the community that you're a big time trader and you're always milking every prop firm for money. They could transition you to live right away. Now, so what if your country is restricted where you can't trade live? Well, then you're going to have to speak to your risk manager, and they're going to give you some options, which is kind of fuzzy too, and kind of a gray area where you don't know what's going to happen to that balance? If there is, let's say, a $10,000 balance, do you get that balance all at once? That's a question that we don't know. And if anybody at Tradeify is watching this video, I'd love for you guys to reach out to me. Maybe we can get a Q&A, or maybe you can leave that answer down below, or maybe you can actually add those to your frequently asked questions here, because a lot of people would want to know what would happen to that balance if they did get moved into live in a country that's restricted from live trading. Who knows? All right, so finally, what is going to happen to your accounts once you're being told that you're going to be moved to live? So you're not going to be able to trade those accounts anymore. So those are going to be most likely frozen. And then you're going to speak to your account manager about the amount of balance that's going to be moved over to your live accounts. And that's when you're really going to start to make that decision whether should you really shoot for those merit accounts and really amplify your earnings, or should you start taking profits immediately and start actually chipping into even your initial balance? Well, that's a question that each one of us will have to answer individually. I don't know personally what I would do. If I'm trading and I'm on a hot streak, I'd probably shoot for one of those merit accounts or multiple merit accounts, because you could actually make a lot more money with the merit accounts if you just put off a little gratification, take your time, trade smaller, make sure you don't hit those daily loss limits, because even the merit accounts have daily loss limits. So everything gets treated almost as if it was a sim to funded or a sim funded account. So if you guys like what Tradeify is offering, I suggest you give them a shot. I do have a coupon code that is directly for our community, which is Smooth Trader. If you use that, you will get the best and highest discount available with Tradeify. If you guys have any other questions about Tradeify, leave it down below. I'd be glad to answer those for you. We also go live every single day from 9 to 1 p.m. We trade the NASDAQ futures if you guys want to see that. And we have a free Discord community, and there'll be a link to that down below as well. If you guys want to see more videos from us, go ahead and hit the one on the screen right now. I'll see you guys over there in just a few seconds. Thank you for watching. I love you, and I'll see you next time.